everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Debbie and this is my Crafty Den, and I've been working on some playing cards, altering playing cards. And these aren't just any playing cards. These are actually the jumbo sized. I mean, these are about 3.5 or maybe even a little more than 3.5 by 5.5 inches. They're really nice and big, but they are actually just playing cards. So I have no idea what happened to the two of spades. I've probably used it for something, just grabbed a card out, and that happened to be the one that it was. So I'm going to take the spades out because I've altered the hearts already, and I thought it would be nice to share with you what I've been doing with these. So I have 4 done, and I sat down to do a couple more, to finish off a couple more, and realized that I hadn't even started to share this project at all yet. So I'll just go through what I have. This one is the Jack of Hearts, and it is a Tim Holtz paper doll. This is one of the larger ones with the Tim Holtz Big Chat, I think, that says beautiful boy. And this is what the card looks like finished. Now I could take this and I could just slip it into a book for a bookmark. I could glue down the side and the bottom, either side and the bottom, and put this into a journal for a nice little tuck spot. I could add some, I just have some brown paper bag from the grocery store. I could just cover the back of this with brown paper bag and it would still look vintagey. And then I could just put it loose into a journal and use it like a journaling card on the back. I'm actually thinking about putting an eyelet in the corner of all of these when I'm done and putting them on a nice big binder ring and just having a bunch of beautiful images that I can just flip through, leave it laying out on top of a coffee table, on a side table, someplace like that, decorative. I think that they'd look really pretty like that. So I'll show you the ones that I've finished in my last session, and that was a couple of days ago, and I thought I would show you. So I have Beautiful Boy, I have Grateful Thoughts, and I always have grateful thoughts when I'm in my garden. So this is very much a garden image with the rain boots, the watering can, and this gorgeous butterfly die cut that I've put on here. And then I have a couple of bird ones. This one just says fly. Look at all the different bits in this. Very much mixed media layers. And this one, travel beyond your imagination. Oh, you'll see that the little robin image is the same on both of them, but this little bird image here was a stamp that I had, and I stamped it on the page. And then I thought, well, why not add another bird to it? And the little robin is actually just a cutout from a napkin. So yeah, it's really cute. I really love it and wanted to use it. So I've got those 4 done. So I want these all prepped so that I can sit down whenever the urge hits and I can create something. So this one is altered. It doesn't have quite as much on as some of them do, but I really do like this just the same. And this one has a bit more. This might be the top. This might be the top. It depends when I sit down to do them, how I feel once I get them done. So all of these wonderful vintagey looking, even the white ones or the whiter ones are more vintagey looking still. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing today, is altering my cards so that they look like this, because I want this whole deck done so that I have something to just put my hands on immediately. And when I only have 15 or 20 minutes and I want to sit down and create something, My backgrounds are done, and then I just have to finish out my card. So I'm going to grab the spades out. I'm going to grab, this is just a piece of that brown paper bag. So I love that we're using paper bags at the grocery store now. Whenever I forget my reusable bags, a lot of times they're hanging on my doorknob when I leave the house and I forget to pick them up and take them with me. But yes, whenever I forget them, I opt for the paper bag option. So the first thing I'm going to do with these is, I can't find my sanding block, but I buy a lot of press-on nails, and every package comes with a little nail file, a little disposable nail file, and they're great for this. So I don't have to do much. Look at that little wee bit, distressed that. You can tell the difference there. So all I'm doing is just going back and forth across my page like this, all the way to the end, and then I'm going to go up my page like this once. And this is just going to give my cards a little bit of tooth so that my liquid mediums will stick to them. So just like this, and that's all it takes. It just takes a second to do each one. I'll show you on this 10 the difference that just a couple passes makes. Like I said, these are plastic coated, and plastic isn't the best thing to be starting off an art project on. This is just a wet wipe, and I've taken it and wiped the dust off of all of those cards and my table. And the next step for me, just because I want to be absolutely sure, is I'm taking some of this gesso and I am going to gesso all of these cards. This only takes a minute as well. I want it to stick, so I just need a really thin coat of gesso so that it'll dry fairly quickly. And the next step is to add some book page to these cards. So I'm going to take some book page and I'm going to cover a lot of the elements on this page, or on this card, sorry. Some like that, and some like that, and some right across the middle, like that, I think. So let me get a little cup. I'm going to grab my Mod Podge and put some in this cup. So if you didn't see before, I had a great big 16-ounce bottle of Mod Podge, and it was starting to dry out. The lid gets left off of it a lot, and it's just hard to manipulate. So I just grabbed an old Dawn dish soap bottle, dumped all my Mod Podge into here, threw that old crusted bottle away, and this is so much easier to use now. So I'm going to put some Mod Podge down in this corner, and book page, and down in this corner, and book page, and some right across the middle like this. And then I'm going to let this dry before I go on to the next step. And that's what I'm going to do with all the cards. I'm going to put Mod Podge on them. So, and here I go again. I'm looking for places to put things to dry. So I worked on the king, the queen, Let's see, right across the center of the queen, I think I'm going to put some book page. Just like that. And it's okay that some of the edges of this show, it's still texture. And I love the patina of those old book pages. I think they're really gorgeous. So I'm going to do all these, and then I will come back when these are dry and I'll show you the next step. All around your edges like that, and you're done. That's it for that part. So really simple so far. So the next part is I just grab a few stamps. I have some curly cues and some music notes and some organic bits. And I have a stamping block, and I'm just going to take these pieces. Oh, here, this one's full of curly cues and things that are really good for this. And stamp your cards. Because this gives them, all this does is gives them another layer of depth. To do this, because I'm still going to add some wet stuff on top of it, I use my archival ink from Ranger, because this will not run when I add more Mod Podge or whatever I'm going to put on top. So I'm going to start with this little flower. And I'm just going to stamp it. Some of it off the page and some of it on the page, like this. That looks really cool on the black, like the spades on the black playing cards. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to stamp using different stamps. This one doesn't have any sticky left on it, but that's okay. When I moved from Ontario, I came in the summertime and I had a bunch of my crafting stuff in the car. And I drove part way, and then I got a hotel room for the night, and my stuff stayed in the car overnight, and it was like 100 degrees in the car. And when I started to use some of my craft supplies after, you could really tell that they had been left in the heat. There was a bunch of sticky stuff missing, like this is peeling right off, like a whole bunch of my stamps that has peeled right off. So there, so more of that. So just kind of, you know, adds more dimension. Wrong pile. And by stamping more than once like this, you can kind of make it look like there's more depth that way too, because as it gets lighter and lighter, it kind of makes it look like it's in the background. So I've got lots of card showing on this one, but I really like this stamp. Has lots of nice curly cues on it. There. Oh, look how nice that print is on that. This is a nice stamp. So, and that's probably enough on this one. That's probably enough. But I can take this same stamp now and do this and make it look completely different. So I've done a couple with that one. I really like this big one. And it's just curly cues. Just curly cues. There, that's cool. Maybe a different one. So I'm just going through my stamps. Like this is just a curl, just a spiral. And I'm going to turn this around. Different ways. So I've used it on all four sides. So you can give it just adds a little something else. Now I want to show you, if you don't have a bunch of stamps, you could use a stencil and you could stencil over top of these. Or here's another idea. Just take, so this Prismacolor is just a permanent marker. So you could just do something like this. Don't forget to go, if you're just doodling, don't forget to go off your page as well. Like that. So you don't have to have stamps to add something else to it. So you could take this and you could pretend that you're writing. I'm not actually writing anything, but I'm just doodling down the page. And it looks like really messy handwriting. But you could do that way, and then you could do it the other way. But look what that does. It just adds some interest to the page. So you don't have to have stamps. Here's another little, this one here was just a bunch of all different curly stamps, and I picked it up at the dollar store. So yeah, just imagine how much I've gotten out of this. So sometimes I like to go all over the page in different directions, and other times I'll just do this. And I've actually done that now in nice lines like that, but it still looks great. You can't go wrong with this. I mean, you can't. You can't go wrong with this. I don't think I've used this one yet. And do I want some really bold marks on this one? I want something really bold on this one. Just some nice bold lines. And then I'm not sure I'm going to stamp on these two. You don't have to stamp on every single one if you don't want to. I'm going to put all these little curly cues and bits away. Okay, for the next step, I want to start making these look a little bit more vintage. And to do that, I'm going to use something that I have that's vintage. So you can go to thrift stores and you can find old patterns, and they make amazing craft supplies. So just one will go so far. And I'm going to start. I'm going to tear this down to some usable sized pieces. So there. A little bit more manageable this way. So right off the hop, I know that I'm going to love this corner right here. So I am going to grab this, I think, the good old 9 of spades. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, I just want to say that I try to leave one corner of my playing card so that you can see it. So I am going to tear this apart like this, because I just love these cut lines that are on here, and I want those scissors on my card. There. So I am going to once again use Mod Podge. So I'm going to take my same old cup, add a bit more to this again. And this is tissue paper, guys. So you don't have to glue it down. Just put the, look. That is stuck right down. It goes right through. Whoops. It goes right through and sticks. I moved it a little bit. Put it over this way a bit more, because I do want those scissors on the page or on the card. So this is a really cool little piece, and this could be even a sewing themed card. Now, if you're doing this type of a project using a regular sized set of cards, a deck of cards, cards are basically the same size as ATC cards. So you could alter a whole deck of playing cards, regular playing cards, and you'd have 52 ATC cards. Yes, I'm liking where this is going. So this part here takes a little more time because I have to find a place to set these all down to dry them. So I love this image, and I love the Joker down the side. I think that that's already fabulous, and all I want to do is kind of vintage this up a bit. So I'm just going to take just a piece like this and put it down. Now I'm going to be able to see that Joker through this. So this is perfect. I love this. But you don't just have to have patterned paper to be able to add another layer on or more dimension to your cards. So I have here, you could use music paper, and I don't have any offhand, but I do have a napkin. There. Now this layer here was hard to get off, but I want to show you. I'm going to use this on a card. And I may do it on this ace because I don't want very much to show through here, but look at this. And this is the backing paper, the first layer, the layer that was closest to the top. Move this over a little bit like this, and then I get that treble clef in there. But it's on there, like there's music notes on here, and it's very subtle, but once the glue dries, you're going to notice it a little bit more, and I love that look as well. So very different from this, but it's still really cool. Let's take, say, this one and show you how cool it looks when you just take some of this. Anytime I find napkins that have a music print on them, I love grabbing them, guys, because they make this look so good. Look how cool that looks. So I've got the music page on that side. I'm going to take... There. So I'm going to have to leave a few of these to dry and then come back and finish a few more because I'm just running out of places to put them. So this is the first one I did, and it's dry enough that I'll just go through the whole pile and trim them out with my scissors. I'll be back when all that's done. So I have my little stack done to this point. So if you remember, I didn't have a 2 of spades, but that's the Joker, and that's how it turned out. I love that I left that image there instead of stamping. I think that's enough on that one because it says Joker. It's really decorative as it is. And the 3 and the 4. I'm just going to go through these so that you can just take a peek at them and see what they look like. And there's a big difference between the ones that have the vintage looking paper from the pattern paper, the pattern tissue on there, and the ones that just have the napkin music sheet paper on. This is about half and half, and there is the Ace of Spades. So I didn't bother putting anything on there because I wanted to show you one other alternative. I have a napkin. Absolutely love this napkin. And it's one of those napkins. Well, there you go, guys. There's the inside of that napkin. This was given to me from someone else. So I wonder, is there another layer on there? There could be, though. I get worried that there's another layer because it looks like there might be. There is, see? It's just stuck. It's just stuck. So that's always a good way to check if you're not sure. Put a piece of sticky tape on the dull side and lift it up. There. I was pretty sure that the inside of this napkin should have some pretty vivid colors on it because, I mean, look at how rich looking that is. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? So I just want to show you this. Look at how pretty this is. Just look how pretty this is. So this may be glued in a journal. I love when you put some tissue down that just barely has a hint of an image on it and you put it into a journal. It's so pretty. But this one, I want I want this part of this image onto this card. And I think it'll be enough to do that card. So I am just going to cut, because I'll let it overhang. I'm just going to cut. I think I have 2 of these napkins. And these napkins are so pretty that this would be one that would be lovely to have a whole package of. So definitely going to Mod Podge this right onto here, and I'm going to do it in such a way that the ace comes right through that corner. So right, just like that. When I'm decoupaging a napkin onto something that I'm going to keep, like a vase or a plate or something like that, I will use my napkin decoupage, but it's pricey, guys, so I don't use it for paper crafting. I try to keep it for those projects that I absolutely want for my house, you know, decor pieces. This is so pretty. I'm just trying to be gentle. I don't want to tear this. And it will get some wrinkles in it. And remember, like, there's a lot of texture underneath as well. So this isn't a perfectly flat surface. This is a fairly full graphic on this napkin. So a lot of that background isn't going to show up. But most of these cards I want to do with some kind of flora or fauna, you know. I want to stay in that kind of a category for this project and do this whole deck of cards like that. So there, isn't that pretty? So I'm going to just let this dry for 1 minute, and then I'm going to cut this out. And then I'll give you a little bit more of a close-up look. I think I've got a little air bubble right there. Gosh, I like it. That's so pretty. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's almost dry. I mean, it's dry to the touch. But there's a lot of layers on this, and it'll take overnight before it fully dries and all the cloudiness from the glue goes away. But look at how pretty this is. Now, this was the ace, and I know I left that image on there, and then I decided to put this image over top of it. I don't know what I was thinking, but it does look pretty. I can see the treble clef from the music page, a little bit of the music note, of course, the book page underneath, the stamping. It looks really good, and I've got one more step. I'm going to just ink up my edges. I'm using the Vintage Photo for this because I love the Vintage Photo on everything. If I want to make something look old, I just go for the Vintage Photo. I think it's You know, you can't go wrong with it. And if you don't like how white it is in the middle, you can even take this and lightly go over top of it. It'll darken that down a little bit. But I do think I like that little bit of light that's poking over top of the bee skep here. I think it is so, so pretty. And because I don't like to waste things, and I've got this half of my napkin still, which is such a pretty print. If I had have been thinking, I may have taken my cards and put them, and you can do this, and you can get 3 of these jumbo cards across, but I still used up the rest of that napkin. I put the other end of it, I put the bees on here, and just look at how pretty that is. And then I put the other bits, there were bits left, and I just put them together on here just to get some of that, you know, the floral behind. And there's a few little bees on here as well. So all 3 of these are not quite finished, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I want a focal point, and I want, I don't know if I'll put a sentiment on this because it does say bees, but a sentiment usually I put on. But I mean, on this one, a butterfly would be pretty on here. Or on this one, like a nice floral would be pretty down in this corner. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but they're almost done. And I like working on my pieces like this. Now, when I have time, I may sit down and work a little bit more at them. And I have all of this yumminess plus the ones that I did the other day as well. But so there, I've got all of these ready to go, ready to work on. Anyway, that's what I've got done so far today. I've prepped all 13 of those cards and got the next step done on these 3. So as you can see from the ones that I finished the other day, they don't all have a napkin over top of them. This one doesn't have a napkin over top of it. This one doesn't have a napkin over top of it. So, you know, there's a lot of different methods that you can use when you're doing this style. So go ahead, prep yourself a deck of cards and have them ready for when you're, you know, for when you've got time to sit down and spend a little time and enjoy what you're doing. And you don't have to do all that prep work. So that's just what I wanted to share with you today. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to comment. Let me know what you think. And I will see everybody in the next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that before you leave. And bye-bye for now, everyone.